I don't know about any of you, but something that I've found myself experiencing lately, um, and I don't know if this is just through age or time, or maybe it's just because of the way the world is today, that I just find it very hard to enjoy doing things that I once, enjoyed, or even the small things when I have time. I just feel like it's hard to actually just enjoy it. And I feel like as we get older, um, society, especially the world that we're living in today, it's constantly telling us we need more. We need to be more. And it's not okay just be in a way. And this goes hand in hand with the idea of being content and being happy with where you're at in life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think there's some people out there in the world that really, really excel at that. I'm not one of them, if I'm being honest with you. I have a hard time, just being in the moment and just being like, okay, this is where I'm at right now. These are the cards that I've been dealt, and like just saying, hey, this is the moment that I live in. I find that my mind is always like on. And that's why I do a lot of these videos at night, because I find I get my best thoughts, my most clear thinking when the world is asleep, or at least on my side of the world anyway. And where I really can put my thoughts out there and be reflective, and where I get my best work done. And being 33, um, you start to question a lot of things, especially in your 30s, like who am I? Where am I going? What's my life going to be? And we're also looking at, or at least I'm looking at, how the world is today and how expensive it's gotten and the unaffordability of the world and how the world that we're, or at least the system that we're in, is normalizing the need to have two, three, four jobs, even, investing and looking at real estate as investments, not long term, um, places where we just live and start families. We're not in that world anymore. And I've had conversations with other people that feel the same way, and I have seen online a lot of people that kind of feel the same way. They're like, you can't even sit down to play a video game anymore without feeling bad, And I saw a meme, or like a guy did a video, and I'll see if I can find it. Essentially, he's like, yeah, I finally got free time. I'm gonna play the game that I bought that I've been wanting to play. And he sits down, and then he has that inner voice being like, you're an idiot, you're lazy, you should be getting another job, you should be making more money, you shouldn't be enjoying video games, you're 33, grow up. And then he's like, fuck this, and he throws the controller down, and now he doesn't enjoy it. Now I use video games as an example because that's something that I really, really used to enjoy. I remember, yeah, when I was a kid, I'd play for hours on end. And obviously, when you're older, I don't really think that's something that you should be doing, and, from day till night. But finding the enjoyment in certain things. And I find that that's something that I struggle with. And I feel like the one activity that I probably, um, you know, where I feel like I can disconnect the most is when I'm hiking or I'm outdoors and I'm really just kind of away from the world and all the noise. And I just think because we live in a world now today that's normalized hustle culture, where it's like you need to be hustling, you need to start building an empire, you need to start, maybe launch a business, whether it's a physical business or an online enterprise or drop shipping or what have you. And social media has normalized that you need to be doing this. Otherwise, you're lazy, you're never going to go anywhere in life. And there are so many millennials right now that are just faced with this reality, and they're struggling. And it's something that I find myself struggling with. It's just feeling like I can't just breathe. I can't just sit down and enjoy my life. And it's sad because if we look back 30 years 20, 30 years ago, a $50,000 job wasn't more than enough to be able to buy a home, a car, and enjoy the small things in life and not have to worry, you know. But now, as we're moving into this new era, this new world that we're living in, it's just you just can't. You don't have the luxury of doing that, and this is why so many people just feel burnt out. They feel like whatever they're doing is just not enough to live. We're literally living to work, and it's hard. It really is hard, and there's many times where I feel like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I remember when I was laid off from my job in 2023, and I would spend days looking for jobs. But then on a beautiful day, I'd be like, wow, I should move. I should do something. And I would find plans, or like, find a mountain to go hike on or whatnot. And, but then I'd go out, then I'd feel bad. I'd be like, I shouldn't be out. I shouldn't be enjoying the day. I should be on my ass looking for a job, looking for two jobs, a side job, whatever. Like, I would not allow myself just to be in that moment, because I was thinking, well, I'm not doing enough. But then the days when I was home looking for jobs, I was beating myself up because I wasn't outside, and how I've been, spending hours destroying my mental health behind a screen trying to find a job and filling out application after application, especially with Workday. And if any of you know Workday, you upload your damn resume and it asks you to refill in everything that's on your resume. It's like, it starts to really get to you. And everything just feels like it's a constant battle. Everything just feels like an uphill battle today. And, you know, I've come across some people that are just like, live and let live, man. Like they're like the dude from the Big Lebowski, just like, I'm just here, I'm just existing, and what will be will be. And I feel like sometimes I'm trying to be that way, but I feel stuck in this perpetual state of needing to not be more, but to, I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to be mediocre or live in mediocrity, and but at one point, what is, or when is it enough, and but I just feel like this world is constantly telling you that it's not. And there's so many things that are fueling that. You look at the economy, you're looking at how that our salaries aren't going up, and the groceries are getting expensive, and there's more and more people not wanting to have kids anymore, and there's some people that aren't even getting married anymore, and it's just crazy. We're seeing people getting together just to pay the bills, and then they kind of lose themselves because now they're not really happy, and it's wild. It's absolutely wild. And I would say, the one thing other than the hiking that I find myself really enjoying is doing this YouTube. Sure, it's not easy getting in front of the camera. It really isn't, and talking about this, because you're putting yourself out there on the internet, right? And you're gonna have people that are gonna agree with you, and you're gonna have people that don't agree with you. And it's tough. But the one thing I enjoy doing this, because it's the one moment where I feel like I can be myself on this corner of the internet, and connect with other people that might feel the same way. And it's relieving, because, in a way, you can feel very isolated in your life if, you don't have a lot of friends, or you're not with anybody, and you don't have much family. And I've definitely felt that way before, and feeling the weight of the world, especially with this world. And this video is kind of a culmination of everything, like deleting social media so I stop comparing, which is something that I do so much. And they say that comparison is the thief of joy, and that's where I found myself trying to enjoy things, but just comparing myself to others. I'd be like, oh, well, here I am sitting on my ass playing a video game while this person is building an empire. And then you start feeling that pressure, being like, well, maybe I should be doing something. And but not everyone is a content creator. Not everyone has to have a need to build a business. Like, I dabbled in entrepreneurialism before, and I love the idea of it. I get excited. I put a lot of energy into it. But then again, I fall into that loop of like, I'm not doing enough, and I start comparing myself, and it becomes this self-defeatist kind of behavior, and it sucks. It really sucks, because I'm sure if it were, look, competition and comparison has always been a thing. Don't, what was the expression? Keep up with the Joneses. But we would compare ourselves a lot of the times to our neighbors and our close friends and stuff. But now we have access to a plethora of people on the internet that we don't even know. And I just find a lot of people, including myself, just have a hard time sitting in the quiet and just saying, you know what? I did what I wanted to do today, and now I'm just going to sit down and enjoy. And I'm not obviously saying that this is the case for everybody. There are some people that are really, really good at it, and I wish I could be. I really wish I could, to be able to just disconnect and say, "Hey, today is today. I did this, and I'm going to celebrate that small win with something for myself." And I try to do it. I try to hold myself accountable to being able to do that. But again, easier said than done, right? Especially with the way that the world is, and the situation that I find myself in. And this is why I'm grateful for the very few friends that I have. I'm grateful for my dog and having her as a best friend, and for all the small things I try to appreciate. But it's hard when the world is so in disarray, and it's so chaotic right now. And there's a lot of people that are feeling this way, like, feeling just stressed out, feeling like they're not doing enough. And I made a short on here before, like, when is it ever going to be enough? And we're living in a crazy age where digital entrepreneurialism is huge, where people are making thousands of dollars just by doing pranks and TikTok videos. And you worked hard to go to school or work hard to get that promotion, and you're only making peanuts to scrape by, and society tells you you're lazy and you're not doing enough. It's kind of hard to start just enjoying your time off or enjoying things in your personal life when the world says, hey, you're not doing enough. And you have the likes of people like, even like Gary Vee and everything, being like, get on the internet, make a video, start a business, do something with your life. And I find a lot of content out there today is you have people doing that, just telling you to do something more with your life. And look, I'm all for bettering myself, and I'm all for encouraging others to be the best version of themselves. And if there's a passion that you have, you have a passion project, or there's something that you want to do, maybe you want to create a business, maybe you don't. Some people don't want to take a passion and turn it into business because they're afraid that they might not like it, and they might end up hating their passion. That's something that I experienced, detailing, auto detailing. I've been doing auto detailing for well over 13 years. I love it. I'm passionate by it. I've tried going full scale with it multiple times, but the problem is that I'm a perfectionist, and I detail things that people don't even notice. And I would spend hours taking care of a client's car, and getting paid well for it. But then I would start hating it. I was like, this long, you're getting people that really don't care about their cars, and not enjoying that process anymore, and then starting to back away from it. So if the point of this video, honestly, for me, if there's any point really, it's just to kind of make this and put this out here to say, like, hey, I'm not perfect, I'm trying to, I started this channel, and I had that one video that exploded, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm excited to see, I have all you wonderful people following me, and I'd love to learn from one another, and I would love to hear from you, and suggestions, and some of the things that you do to just be in the moment, and just live and feel like, hey man, life is life, and we're just here for a short period of time. Got to make the best of it, and I'm all for that. But I'm curious to know from all of you, like, what are some things that you do to just be in the moment, to just live, to be at peace? Me personally, I find I've just been taking the small things, like deleting social media and disconnecting, going ghost in a sense, and using only YouTube as a platform to communicate and take in information, but then doing more reading, connecting more with my close friends, and getting outside with nature, and just getting back to what it means to be human. I feel like for me, that's some of the steps that I'm trying to do, just to start enjoying things that I used to enjoy and start new things. And yeah, like, I want to start playing video games again. I want to start enjoying that within moderation, of course. And I want to start, new things where I'm just like, hey, I can feel good to just sit down and enjoy my day right now, and enjoy this one thing that I want to do for myself. And again, this is not to be confused with things like where I'm just going to sit on my ass all day and not do anything. Like if that's something that you're doing where you just want to not work, you don't want to, you just expect everything to come to you on a silver platter. That's not at all what this video is talking about. I'm talking about when you work hard, like I mentioned in another video, like when did going to university, stop being enough? You got an education, you worked hard, you studied day and night, you showed up, you promised yourself you're going to do something, you got a job, you were promised, a good pay and a house and perhaps marriage and kids, but now it's like it's just not enough. And now you're constantly on, you're constantly going, and then you're around people and people are telling you it's not enough, and it's a constant whirlwind. It never ends. And I feel like for me the only way is to disconnect from all that and to be like, you know what, fuck that. I want to get back to what it means to be me, and I want to get back to being human, and I want to get back to just enjoying life, because we're only here for a short period of time. And we can't take any of this stuff with us when we leave, unfortunately. So what can I take with me? My memories, my experiences, and the things that I found enjoyable. And I most certainly don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old or on my deathbed to say, oh, well, and now I get to enjoy life because, I don't have to work anymore. And I don't know. I just, even that, I feel like most of us millennials are I don't even think the majority of us will be able to retire. Looking at the statistics of things, looking at the cost of living and inflation and where the world's going, so it's just like it's hard to just be at peace and fight that thing saying, well, hey, I worked hard, I want to enjoy, but wait, I can't now. I gotta go to my second job, I gotta go to my third job, to put food on the table. It's wild. It's wild to me. But yeah, I'd love to hear from all of you. What do you think about this? Or do you have a hard time finding, just to enjoy the moment, just to, just shut off for a little bit and just say, hey, it's okay to just, enjoy what I'm doing right now and not feel ashamed about it. And if that does work for you, what is your thought process? How do you control the urge to not feel bad? And if you're like me and you are experiencing that, I want to hear from you too. I want to hear what's going on through your mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. At least for this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Of course, I welcome new people, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful as well, consider liking, leaving a comment down below. That way, this video and other videos like it can get pushed out to future subscribers and other viewers. It definitely will help out the channel and help me out as well, which I greatly appreciate. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this channel can go. I really am, and all of you so far have been so wonderful, so encouraging, so supportive, wonderful comments. I'm trying to get back to all of you as you comment. Sometimes it's a little bit easier said than done. It's, there's a lot coming in, and then there's replies to replies, and those get lost, and YouTube sometimes has a hard time filtering them, but I will do my best to get back to all of you. But again, I would not be doing this without all of you. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And until the next video, take care, all the best. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.